You're tuned in to Cruising Radio 102. Hey, what soul ain't dead? It's just grown. From sunrise to midnight, we vibe right. Classics, combo, culture in the limelight. No static, just soul. No drama, just gold. Cruising to the frequency that never gets old. Cruising gonna do what they hey. Real talk, real sound, real great. We don't just play the hits, we are the way. Turn it up, don't hesitate. Cruising, yeah. Where the music elevates. Feel the rhythm, whispers take control. On this journey, let the beats unfold. Final crackle, talk box, breathing light. Timeless grooves, sharp as a knife. Ooh, electric licks cutting through the air. Soulful vibes everywhere. Can you feel the flare? Cruising to one day. Real talk, real sound, real great. We don't just play the hits, we are the way. Turn it up, don't hesitate. Cruising, yeah. Where the music elevates. Let's keep it smooth, let's keep it real. In these moments, you know how we feel. Grown folks' music, it's a sacred place. Hit the airwaves, find your grace. From the funk to the soul, you'll find your truth. Cruising.
And good evening, everybody. How are you doing on this Thursday evening? If you love that song, our new introduction song, let me hear you clap a little bit for us. That's what I like. I hear you. Thank you very much. We certainly appreciate you being here with us on this Thursday evening special edition. We got a fantastic guest coming up soon. I know many of you been out, man. You've been, as Kirk Audrey just said a few minutes ago, it's not Kroger's with an S, it's Kroger. So y'all quit saying Kroger's. You're going to Kroger's. But we're getting ready for the snow. Things are people are buying eggs, bread, and milk and all that. And you ask yourself, I saw somebody with just a basket full of meat, and what if the power go off? What you gonna do then? But anyway, hopefully the power will not go off. That this will only be just some powdery precipitation, and that we'll make it through this just fine. We do know that normally when the snow melts, there is some black ice, so we will ask everybody to be safe out here. And as the emergency management system has already indicated, if you don't have to be out there in this inclement weather, please don't. This gentleman that I'm going to be bringing live here, if you follow Charles on any of his social media, the man is highly intelligent. He is just super. He got a great personality, and he's doing a lot of important things. And let me tell you a little bit about Charles. He has ties both to Richmond, South Richmond in particular, family here as well. Well, I said that wrong. He has ties to Richmond Southside and the Eastern Shores near Chincoteague. He's an Oak Grove resident since 2020. He's a public educator during the day and doing community work in the evenings. He studied at Liberty University. Go Flames! Y'all didn't know anything about those Flames. That's right. They got some great programming at Liberty University. The basketball team has been doing well recently. The football team has been doing great recently. So if you've never been to Liberty University, it's down 460, nestled in the mountains of I like Virginia to the west, going back toward the Roanoke area. So great country out there, pretty country. He has a master's degree from VCU University, Virginia Commonwealth University. Go Rams. Currently furthering the legacy of Virginia Randolph. He is the president of the Oak Grove Neighborhood Association, which was established February 2025, coming up on 1 year. All right, go ahead. All right, I see you. I call him OGANA. OGNA. That's right. Y'all get that straight. Write that down, jot it down, hashtag that. All right. Um, and which has boundaries of Richmond Highway to Commerce, Dinwiddie down to Hardwood, and with the cutout of Lone and Bruce uh, Street. Oak Grove advocacy started before with that neighborhood cleanups, emailing the mayor about the Confederate monument. They had the at the end of the street. It has since grown into a nonprofit where they throw three main events each year, and we're going to find out more about that. I'm going to let him tell us about those three events. And again, they poured in 11.7 thousand into the community since February. That is freaking incredible. We're gonna before I bring Charles to the stage here and talk about. We got to pay some bills first. You know, to keep the lights on and Dominion Power. They going up on the lights, so we got to pay them. So just stand by. We'll be right back.
The first thing that you need to do is to make sure you get yourself to as safe place as you can. Find yourself a competent attorney who practices in personal injury and will understand some of the things that you're going through. And as I tell people, for 33 years I've been doing this. I've had my own accident. So I would like to be one of those individuals that they would interview so I can at least try to find out how I can best help them myself.
When it comes to protecting your family, your income, and your future, you deserve someone who actually cares about your goals. That's why women and business owners across the region choose Wealth Chick Insurance, led by trusted advisor Lisa Monroe. Lisa makes insurance simple, understandable, and empowering. Whether you're just getting started or leveling up your wealth journey, she'll help you secure the coverage that truly protects your life and builds your legacy. Life insurance, income protection, retirement planning. Lisa helps you put the right plans in place so you can move with confidence. So don't wait. Your future deserves attention today. Visit wealthchick.com or call Lisa Monroe directly at 804-489-7602 and schedule your personal coverage review. Wealth Chick Insurance with Lisa Monroe. Protect your life, build your legacy.
And we certainly want to thank our sponsors, the G Law Firm and Wealth Chick Enterprises LLC. Again, sponsorship is important, and the right sponsorship is important as well. So we have great sponsors, and we really appreciate them. Without no further ado, I want to make sure I bring up to the stage. We have on the line with us tonight the Sir Charles Snelling. How you doing, Charles?
I'm well, Cruz. How are you doing?
Man, I am just fine. I certainly appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with us tonight. You got all your snow items picked up and all your goodies and snacks and all that.
I am mostly covered. I was told today I need to have some snack foods, so I'm gonna take care of those. But other than my snack foods, I'm good to go.
That's
I had to make
all.
sure the dogs were taken care of. I had to make sure, the necessities, but I'm not a resource, hoarder. So I still left plenty for everybody else who's going to panic and go, Saturday morning. So,
Man, it's going to be super crazy out there. I also like to welcome our guests that are watching us on Cruising Radio 102.8 Facebook page and also on our Cruising Radio 102.8 TV on YouTube channel. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hey, Keisha Williams, glad to have you in. Also, want to make sure you guys know that you can put your comments into the section there, and Charles and I will be able to see them. So, Charles, Sir Charles, I like that, Sir Charles. um, you are currently, again, a public educator. Tell us about some of the daytime things you do. Then we're gonna get into the nighttime wrap.
yeah, for sure. So, I'm a teacher, but I'm also Virginia Randolph's a reading specialist during the day. So I'm kind of double dipping. I'm teaching some English language arts and then overseeing the reading initiatives with some of my other teachers. Virginia Randolph just got a remodel, and we have a new principal and a new staff, and we are doing the thing over there. And so when I said continuing her legacy, for folks who may not know, Virginia Randolph was born to enslaved parents, and she started an all Black school that was very much based on abolitionist teaching. And so, Virginia Randolph Education Center is based for students who have a disability, who are not successful in like the comprehensive setting, so like a traditional school. And so, we are teaching them reading, teaching them the social skills, the emotional part. And so, furthering that legacy in a different way, I think is great. And I have a background in behavior teaching, so I did that for 6 years. And so it kind of was like my next step. So day to day, I'm like teaching reading, I'm teaching writing, I'm helping with behaviors, I'm helping with social emotional learning, helping other teachers, and I love it. I leave work tired a lot of days, but I love my students. So
That's awesome, and if we can clone about 11,000 more of you, we would make a tremendous difference, and we certainly appreciate you being an educator and then taking on added responsibilities as well, because we know sometimes, like our first responders, you all don't get the kudos that you all deserve. We know you don't do it for the kudos, but again, thank you so much for uh, that role and what you do day in and day out.
yes, I'm thankful and I'm lucky that there's not clones of me, but there's a lot of other teachers in our program that are just as passionate and teaching their own things in their own way. So I may have some of the reading on lockdown, my other reading teachers have it on lockdown, but we all have our own niche. So I'm lucky I'm not cloned, but we have a good team that is just as passionate. So
That is simply awesome, and you know what? We're glad that you're in the eighth district. We got to give a shout out to everybody that's in the eighth district, and some people will be mad. I got to give a shout out to the ninth district, but big huge shout out to the eighth district. Okay.
listen, it's great in the eighth. I see my comment from my good friend over there. We keep it going in the eighth, and we are hardcore eighth advocates over here. And so, listen, when it comes to I'm niched in at Oak Grove, but
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you, my advocacy is starting to spread a little bit. I'm passionate about Southside overall, but specifically Oak Grove. So
Oak Grove is undergoing a tremendous amount of changes. But before we get talk about the changes here, let's talk about the Oak Grove Neighborhood Association and this birthing almost a year ago.
yeah, so it kind of started before that. I bought my house like you said in that good introduction. So thank you for, you know, asking me some things and then taking it a little bit further and giving it some personality too. But I moved to Oak Grove in 2020, and I brought my Eastern Shore roots and I introduced myself to some of my OG Oak Grove neighbors who are here.
Mm.
Some who have moved on, whether that's to move in with children because of aging, moved on to glory, or moved on to other aspects, you know. So we just bonded in our little block, and we looked out for each other. And what I noticed in that is I was one of the younger folks, and I talked with some of my other younger neighbors. And so it started with picking up trash. And then during 2020, we had a lot of civil unrest. And every day when I was coming home, I was looking at a waist high uh, Civil War memorial. So I just started emailing because I got tired of looking at it and hearing on the news that all the memorials in Richmond were getting taken down, but this one was still at the end of the block. And so it just kind of started from there. And I got a lot of roadblocks at first. And I'm somebody, if you know me, I don't like the word no, and I don't like roadblocks. So I just kept pushing. And then one day I came home from work and the monument was gone. And I just then was like, let's do these cleanups. And then it kind of spurred on with some housing advocacy. And eventually it was like, let's take this a little step further.
Man, that is awesome. And a lot of people, they see situations, they see issues, and they just basically put on blinders. If anybody ever watch, Muse when they're working, they put those blinders on so they can kind of stay focused and get tunnel vision. And I am so glad that you did not get tunnel vision, because with all you do, you could have just easily said, you know what? This ain't my problem. I'm gonna go right back in my little nestle home here and enjoy all those books you have behind you, and say, forget this. This is somebody else's issue,
Yeah.
but you didn't. Where does that passion come from?
I think if you ask my family, they would say, I don't know, or potentially my great grandparents. My great grandparents, my great grandmother specifically, was volunteer of the year 2 years in a row on Chincoteague. Was very active in pony pinning and doing things for other people. So I think that it probably stems from that. Personally, I think it kind of stems from my mom, because she is somebody who I can look back at a time when things were tight for us and somebody needed money for their kids' Christmas presents. And my mom was like, I got one $20 bill left, do with it what you can. So I feel like I come from a family that sees a problem and says, okay, we may not have everything to fix the solution, but we can at least start a solution. And so I feel like it's kind of, maybe it's in our blood somewhere. So part of our family comes from Southside, so maybe it's that grit of being from Southside Richmond. So yeah.
Oh man, that is super amazing. Now we know that your volunteerism goal is in your blood, so you ain't really is it all built into the DNA. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you're seeing some of these comments here, but this one I had to leave up here, for a minute, about, and we're gonna get into this, but since I got it up here, do you see, perhaps, politics in the near future, or have you thought about even running for a public service position?
Not for a very long time. I didn't realize how innate community work was to politics when I began this journey. And I got a lot of work to do in Oak Grove. So I'm successful in Oak Grove right now. I saw another comment, because if you're on my social media, you know that I've been on a tirade lately about some other public service offices that I'm sure we'll get into.
Yeah, we will.
But as far as public office, I really like being beholden to the people in this kind of a way. Versus the elected public official way. I don't know that I'm one for bureaucracy. If you were to talk to my vice president, Brittany, she would tell you, don't let him run for public office, because I'm a bull in a china shop and I charge in and I don't like no. And so I don't know if I'm the right one. We'll see what the future holds, though, if that makes sense. But I will say, Councilwoman Trammell, I call her Miss Reva because we are very close. I will not be doing anything as long as she is still running, because when I tell you that woman is a fierce advocate alongside with me, and there's nothing but love and respect. So maybe when Miss Reva's ready to retire in a decade or more, or however long, we'll talk about it, but it won't be until she's ready for city council at least.
And Charles, we are like-minded with that. The conversations since I first put my toe in the political arena back in 2024 has been, what about representing the eighth? And I think that's a great honor, but I have a respect for Councilwoman Treva and Reva, and Reva has, while there's still a lot to do, she has done a lot. She just had to fight through adversity because of, sometimes being a little dogmatic and being a little hard and coming up on the opposite side of the administration. And I think sometimes people don't know you can, like I said, be a bull in a china. That can be a good thing, or it can be a thing down the line where they like, okay, we're just gonna shuffle this proposal back up on the rest of the paperwork.
Yep. But I look at Reva, and I'm like, that is a force. And I call her sometimes and I'm like, how do you do this? Because I need a little encouragement, So I'm still learning from her. And when I tell you, I have learned a lot from her and how to do some of this community work. And so she's a force, and that charging through and still doing it. I'm still learning from her, and she's not going anywhere anytime soon. So for city council, that's not on my radar for many moons from now, but other positions, who knows what's happening in the near future. School board right now is a mixed bag for me, because I saw some comments on the side about school board. Speaking as a citizen, not as a nonprofit owner, because you have to make that distinction.
Right.
I'm going back and forth with school board right now, and we're looking for the advocacy for our RPS scholars. We're looking for the advocacy and the connection between our citizens and our constituents between RPS school board. And I'm hoping that if not soon, maybe in the next election, we can have an RPS school board representative that's not as combative in emails as what I've experienced this past week.
Well, we're going to get into that a little bit more in depth because it's important. And I know a lot of 8th district residents have that same mindset. I want to go back. There have been 3 main events that you guys have been involved in, and definitely want to highlight that because what you have done in less than a year is phenomenal. Tell us about those events that you've been able to kickstart and do quite well with.
For sure. So we've 3 main ones, but there's been some one-offs as well. Our 3 main ones, we started with an Easter egg hunt. The Saturday before Easter, it'll be coming up April 4th of 2026. I'll make sure that Cruz has it so he can post it out there for you guys. We're hoping for about 20 people. We had 175 come out on our first one.
Wow.
And so we were kind of in all, I sent one of my board members to the dollar store about twice to go get more water and to get more snacks because we just kept running out. And then we had the back to school drive where we gave clear book bags filled with supplies to our RPS scholars. And we were hoping to do maybe 30, 50, maybe 100. We ended up with 400. We asked for parents and guardians to come out. And so for that event, they were all gone. So that day we ended up with probably about 1,000 people in the Oak Grove playground. And at our events so far, we've had our bounce houses. We're feeding people because Oak Grove is a food desert. We are bringing out city offices, other nonprofits to get people connected to services, because it's one thing to meet an immediate need, and it's one thing to tell people that these services are there, but let's actually take the time and create the space to get people plugged into them, because that is the important part. And that's going to be a part that keeps our neighbors in their homes as property assessments go up. That's going to be a part that keeps neighbors in their homes when times get tough. And it's going to be a part that also builds community in a time when you feel a little bit more alone in an urban setting, you know? And then our third big event was our Santa reception, which we had to reschedule. So, and the Santa reception, we had that first snowstorm, even though we're getting ready to have another one. So we rescheduled it. And with that event, we still had 80 people that came through, got a free picture with Santa. We uploaded them on our Facebook page. And we provided hot chocolate, some candy canes. We had some raffle items. That was the first time we'd introduced that because we're trying to fundraise. And we had that one right in the noon community space, which is the new apartment building in Oak Grove that Oak Grove Neighborhood Association helped advocate for.
That's awesome. And you know, again, I mentioned at the top of the broadcast that Oak Grove is going through some great transition. What used to be considered kind of blighted properties for the most part, and then that area right there at Bruce and what is that and Lone.
Yep.
That the streets are being renovated as well. Tell us about that project, Charles.
So the Noon property is actually a little bit farther up from the Bruce and Lone area. That was the old Oak Grove School. It sat empty for about 13 years. And some folks, you know, did want a community center there, but the building, they wanted to renovate it versus kind of tear down and start new because it was filled with asbestos. It had been used as a prostitution ring, a drug ring, a crime ring, a lot of things going on in there. And that really wasn't the best course of action there. There was water in the basement. The boiler had gone wrong. And so as we were under also a small area plan called the OGHB, so Oak Grove, Hillside, and Belmead area plan, we needed roofing to get a grocery store and get those things going. So then we started advocating for the housing there. And not everybody wants a single family home. And that is Oak Grove's, to my knowledge, second apartment complex within our boundaries. The second one is down at the end of Commerce and feels, in my opinion, a little detached from us. So this one is like in the heart of Oak Grove. And they do have a community room that is open to both civic groups in Oak Grove. And I would be remiss to say, you know, I've seen some of the comments. I'm able to do a lot of what we've done because I'm able to stand on some of the shoulders of folks like Ms. Rosa Jones, who is an Oak Grove legend, as well as Ms. Barbara Good, who is another Oak Grove legend, who is running the Oak Grove Civic Association still.
You know, and one of the things that I'm an advocate for, and I've heard, you know, talk to developers, and that is we are a food desert, primarily here on the South Side, and we know we have a stretch of Richmond Highway that there are a number of little, I don't want to call them mom and pop, but kind of like neighborhood walk-in stores. But we don't have that box store where you can go in and get fresh fruits or fresh meats for the most part. And from what I've heard, Charles, a lot of developers said that we don't have the economic, I guess, foundation that they look for when they're talking about putting in a box store. Do you see Southside eventually changing that narrative where we will have the economic capacity and the income ratio in this area to start attracting other high-end stores?
I think that's a good question. And I think it's a long answer, but in short, yes. And I think yes, because at the very end of Ingram and Commerce, there's like 40 something acres that is getting developed right now. And in the midst of that, as an association president, there's conversations that I've been a part of where there are looking at commercial aspects for that. Additionally, part of those conversations also look like we need the roofs. Part of what we've had conversations with in OG&A is we do need affordable housing and potentially an unpopular opinion. And so if the comments go off, let me explain before we really get into it. We got to then have the conversation of we do need Southside to still be an enriched, socioeconomically diverse community overall. And when I say that, we got to bring some of that Forest Hill style money and those commas and those zeros over here across Richmond Highway to us. Meaning, we don't need to only pump voucher and income restricted housing on this side of things. What we need is to create socioeconomic diversity in our neighborhoods, meaning we need this programming, but we also need additional programming to keep our seniors in their home, to allow for people to be able to purchase a home who want to, but then also say, hey, let's make room for other people who are bringing in their children who are maybe working on an entry level, quote unquote, position, but maybe somebody who's well above that entry level position wants to live over here too. And so I think we got to do it both and. And one thing that I've been saying in some meetings with the city and different offices is saying we get very singular in our approach, and we got to be, we got to have some things happening congruently. We got to have some multiple things happening at the same time, because what's the point in building these commercial buildings if we're also not courting the people to fill them once it's built?
Absolutely. Charles, I totally agree with you. As a resident of the 8th District myself, we built our home here going on 10 years ago. And what I was looking at, again, was the future possibilities. And knowing that this is one area that still has room for growth. I think that eventually we're going to have somewhat of a shift when it comes to people coming in that have incomes that are not considered low income, but medium to high income in this area, and which is great. I know we want to make sure that our seniors that are here now, we don't want them forced out of their homes. And unfortunately, because of property taxes,
Yes.
You and I both, we're homeowners, and we know what the property taxes look like.
Yep.
And now that the utility bill, Dominion Energy has gone up on that, I agree. There has to be programs to sustain
Yes.
the citizens that we have, but we also have to have an infusion of more diversity and people that see Southside as a place to be, and that's why I think that people like yourself and people like myself and others can see the possibilities, and we'll keep advocating for that.
Yes, and I think that advocacy is so important, because while we advocate for an enriched socioeconomic status, we have to continue to advocate for the same type of buildings that those luxury people can get for our friends who are in income restricted. They don't deserve less just because of income restrictions. They deserve the same on par type of building grade as everybody else. So that's when I think it's it's a hard question. Southside is one of the places that has the most land in the city. And so our land is super important. But on the flip side, Oak Grove specifically has a 20-degree island heat difference than other places in the city. So we got to be purposeful with our development and have just development, as my friends in Virginia Community Voice would say, and have the right development that says, hey, we need to protect our tree canopy. We need to protect our people who are walking. because that Route 1 corridor, we got a lot of buses. So,
And I had some years ago, one of the former directors of the Department of Public Utilities, and we talked about just what you mentioned, the heat differential in certain parts of that area, and that we're going to have a little bit more in-depth conversation about that, Charles, because people don't really realize or sometimes don't understand. It's a lot warmer in that area than it is, say, where I am near, Walmsley and Iron Bridge area.
yeah.
Uh, and and I think also the infrastructure in that area is much older because this part was part of Chesterfield and it was annexed some 20 plus years ago. So that's another important thing. I think we're seeing a lot of infrastructure
Yes.
development and redevelopment over there.
Well, and Oak Grove was annexed in the 1930s from Chesterfield to the city. And so a lot of our hidden infrastructure, what I would call like all the things we don't see, it's from that time frame. So it's dated and it's not, it's not always the best. And so, yeah, it's a lot of differentials that I feel like happen. And that's why a lot of this advocacy work and this enriched socioeconomic status and homes and things like that community building that we're talking about is really important.
Absolutely. Now, before we get into that huge news that you shared with me last night, you have had some concerns and you posted your concerns, publicly. You asked a question about your school board representative.
Yeah.
Elaborate on that, if you will, please.
Yes. Well, first, if you don't mind, I would like to pop up at some point. Let's circle back to a community center because when we talk about the future hopes for the Oak Grove Neighborhood Association, hopefully there's a really good answer to that. But yes,
let's go ahead and we can deal with it. Yeah, go ahead.
Because I want to, Oak Grove Neighborhood Association eventually wants their own brick and mortar where we want to do before and after school programming. We want to do restoration of rights programming. We want to, my vice president is a doula, and so I want to do more expanded access in Southside to birth work. And additionally, we want to expand food access, be a place where people in Southside can truly come. To give a prime example of when our water cut out last January, of a place that you can pop over to and say, I know they're going to have some water, or I know that they've got solar panels and they're ready to still have power despite what's going on. So we do want a community center at some point. I want to pop in programming that impacts the whole family. I want to impact food access, commercial grade kitchens, so that way when you grow the food and you're a part of that process, we can then bring it in and show you what to do with it. So community center, not necessarily tailored towards sports. As a public school teacher, I feel like we're hitting our kids home with sports is like the only way so often. And we do have so many scholars who are naturally talented and gifted in sports. But I want to expand those horizons as well because, for many of our athletes, it takes one wrong hit or one wrong play. So what skills can we teach them in the process to fall back on in that time? And then how can we also enrich the family unit to say, let's do this together? So a community center is on our horizons. It's part of what we're campaigning and fundraising for this year. If you check out our Instagram at Oak Grove RVA, you'll see our Break the Mold campaign, and that kind of tells you all the things that our end goal is. But I had seen that pop up earlier, so I just wanted to say it is on our horizon. It's something that we want, but that's a big picture goal, and we're still going up.
I mean, I think that you all can continue to blossom, and that a lot of good things are going to be happening over there. And before we talk about the school board, Uh, I am going to take another break here, pay some more bills. So everybody, hang tight. We'll be back in about 90 seconds. All right.
The first thing that you need to do is to make sure you get yourself to as safe place as you can. Find yourself a competent attorney who practices in personal injury and will understand some of the things that you're going through. And as I tell people, for 33 years I've been doing this. I've had my own accident. So I would like to be one of those individuals that they would interview so I can at least try to find out how I can best help them myself.
When it comes to protecting your family, your income, and your future, you deserve someone who actually cares about your goals. That's why women and business owners across the region choose Wealth Chick Insurance, led by trusted advisor Lisa Monroe. Lisa makes insurance simple, understandable, and empowering. Whether you're just getting started or leveling up your wealth journey, she'll help you secure the coverage that truly protects your life and builds your legacy. Life insurance, income protection, retirement planning. Lisa helps you put the right plans in place so you can move with confidence. So don't wait. Your future deserves attention today. Visit wealthchick.com or call Lisa Monroe directly at 804-489-7602 and schedule your personal coverage review. Wealth Chick Insurance with Lisa Monroe. Protect your life, build your legacy.
What happened was a machine came down, clamped both of my hands down, and had removed 6 digits. So I was in a bad situation. I didn't know what else to do, and I knew I needed some type of help, so I called a G law firm. They gave me confidence throughout the whole case that everything was going to be fine. They're not only lawyers, but they are family. Call the G law firm. I did.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We have our special guest this evening, Sir Charles Snellings, who is the president of the Oak Grove Neighborhood Association. If you have not heard of them, you've been up on a rock because they have been making some serious noise, a lot of improvements over there, and been doing a lot of great things. And they have some great news that Charles is going to be sharing with us. We'll let you know if you were late to the broadcast this evening. You will be able to go back to our Cruising Radio 102.8 Facebook page and see the entire show. Also on our YouTube, which is Cruising Radio 102.8 TV. Go ahead and subscribe and hit that like button and also those notifications so that when we are on the air, you will be notified because we're going to, as 2026, it is our plan, our goal to continue to bring you what we're doing tonight, community conversations, things that impact us on a day-to-day basis that we can bring in guests like Sir Charles here and talk about the things that you're interested in. So make sure, again, you're following us, you're liking us, you're sharing this information as well. All right, Sir Charles. Again, we were just before we went to break. We were getting ready to after we talked about the community center. And let me say this about the community center for those that may say, "Okay, well, we got TV Smith." Well, when you look at the difference in terms of geographical distance between Oak Grove and where TB Smith is, there are still a lot of residents in between those areas. So, uh, personally, and I'll go on the record saying that in terms of the community center that you are advocating for, we still have room and the capacity and the need for a community center because the word community means just that a place where of common union in a place where people can get together, walking distance, and hopefully in many cases, and have all of the various programs that you just outlined.
Well, and we have one even closer, the Bellmead Community Center, which has a lot of the same things we want to do. But the thing that I think would truly set us apart and make us different is we would not be city owned.
Mm.
And I think that is what truly makes the difference, right? Because, um, to address the elephant in the room, we had our back to school event, we had to have internal conversations about that was when ICE started showing up. And we had to have those internal conversations of what if ICE happens there. And my VP and I were like, I guess we're laughing in the back of the cop car because nobody's taken our Latin community members from our event. We're ready to go. We were ready to take it to that point. And when you are not run by your municipality, you then get to make your own rules in your own jurisdiction about who can come and who can't, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying that you're going to kick people from your community out, but what I'm saying is that then you become a safe space, because even just a few months ago, even members in Oak Grove have experienced being taken by ICE. We had a parent whose child was getting put on the bus, and while their child is being put on the bus, ICE came and took the parent, and the spouse was there saying, we have papers, we're legal. And ICE said, we don't care, we'll do our own investigation. And so it's when you are able to then create that safe space that truly is representative of your entire community, regardless of sexuality, regardless of race, regardless of gender, regardless of nationality, you then truly tap into what you said, that communal gathering spot. And that truly makes a difference because then it's not run by municipality. It's then run by a community nonprofit who is focused on a geographical location. So I think that makes us a little bit different. I think that's part of what makes our own events a little bit different too, we don't really talk about it, but kind of that FUBU mentality, for us, by us,
Yeah.
So I think that makes a difference. So yes, I think, even Bellmead, even TB Smith, even what's going on in the Blackwell community, even what's going on in faith centers, I think it's different than what we're looking at for OGNA. Because I think even when you look at some of these places, we're not hearing enough about restoration of rights programming. I think there's some General Assembly legislation that's, potentially being proposed, but what if it gets shot down? Those people in our community are still supported, and they need to be included and need to be known that they're important, regardless of quote unquote criminal history,
Right.
So yeah, we want to make access to things that are sometimes tricky in the system to get access to, and support our community.
Absolutely. And this is going to seem a little paradoxical here, in terms of we need to become more self-supportive in our communities. And I do agree that limitations on certain government, because when you are dealing with the government, especially the federal government, even our local government, there are a lot of restrictions, there are a lot of red tape, a lot of policies and procedures that will prevent viable programs and development. So I think we have to go back and look at some private enterprises and look to what we can do to sustain ourselves,
Yes.
even if it's again having a community saying, okay, food line or whatever. Tell us what we need to do to run our own grocery store or to invest in our own grocery store. So to me, the possibilities are unlimited, y'all.
I agree, and that's my hope. Oak Grove is lucky enough that hopefully within the next couple months, a tried and true for a lot of long-term Oak Grove residents, Kings Market is opening back up. But Kings has been closed for like 3 years, and that's put some people in precarious positions. And if we had the community center right here that's in walking distance for folks, even some of our seniors who maybe don't feel comfortable driving, or maybe it's people who have more mobility issues, but they can get in contact with us, then you can do that. And I think that's what makes it so much of a different thing. Belmead is able to go down directly to that garden, pull what they need if they're not able to make it to the store, and be able to be a little bit more self-sufficient than some of our other neighborhoods. So that's our hope. It's a big goal, but I think in our own way of having a community center with the programming allows us to address some of those deserts we have, whether it's a childcare desert, a food desert, and then it also allows us to welcome all of our community members, regardless of any of the credences that they have, right, to be a safe space.
Absolutely. All right, man. We're gonna go back to because in some of the groups that I've been in, and this has been kind of like a hot topic here, and it's an important topic because when we elect public officials, we expect for them to again serve us, to hear our needs and wants, and to do it in a manner again that where everybody is inclusive in
Yeah.
terms of hearing and being able to ask questions and get answers. So tell us about some of the things that you've experienced lately. Walk us back, then walk us forward of what's going on here.
Yeah. So our back to school event, I asked everybody to come. I'm one of them people, come and see what we're about. Some people will be like, who are you? Why are you doing this? What's going on? And when we face criticism, I have to take my behind off my shoulders a little bit, if I'm super honest with you. And most of the time now I'm saying, hey, come see what we're about first. And then if you still have questions, then talk to me, right? So I invited our school board representative. This was my first altercation, and argued with everyone, public officials, co-hosts, co-sponsors. And it finally got to the point that I was like, listen, you're either going to stop arguing or I'm getting you escorted out, which is already not a good look, right? I don't want to get in that energy at my event. I want to hand out book bags and be with my people. And then it just got me thinking, like, what do I truly know about this person? When have I seen them engage with community? What have I seen them do to engage with our scholars? Because I didn't really see them engaging with the scholars at this event where there were literally hundreds of families. And so I kind of let it slide because I was starting a new job as a reading specialist, furthering Virginia Randolph's legacy. But it kind of set that antenna off, right? It kind of let me know, watch for this. I'm hoping somebody else will answer the question that was placed in the chat. So I don't have to name names, but so basically, as the year started, I was like, I'm not seeing where this person's doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And in a confident way, I shouldn't be outpacing you as a nonprofit leader in what your no, not currently. That's who used to represent us. That person's a good one. That person got some work done.
Right. We'll make sure that's clear. I didn't put that up on the board, everybody, but DCP is not the current
No.
representative for the school board. So I might mention that at the end. But anyway,
yes.
go right ahead.
But basically, I just peeped it. So I started asking questions. I wanted to say, I shouldn't be outpacing you as a nonprofit leader personally. If you're an elected official, I shouldn't be making ways for me to engage with the community more than you are. And so I just started asking questions. A long time they went unanswered. And I'm a person who loves a paper trail. I'm a person who loves I'm a stack your own deck against you, if that makes sense. And in doing so, I just kept following the same email chain. Hey, I've still not gotten a response from you. And I finally just kept saying, hey, if I don't get a response from you within a week, I'm calling the news. Because sometimes in Southside, that's where you got to take it to, I feel like, to get your questions answered.
Right.
Or maybe even just the city of Richmond, if we're going to be super honest. And as a result, I started getting questions, and then it was certain questions were getting dodged. The big question that got dodged is, what are you advocating for our scholars? So then I kept asking it. And when I tell you I asked it, Cruz, I was asking that question 2-3 times a week, and I didn't get an answer. So I finally got my answer, and then I finally got equipped with some other things. Like, hey, what about the vocational center coming to Maury Street? What about, there was some folks wanting to do a similar community center to what we want to do at the Ruffin Road School location, which doesn't meet standards for our current school building anymore. Our current school board representatives took it upon themselves to say, no, we want this location for our school, despite it not meeting the acreage, the building standards, anything. Right. And so then I started saying, well, who are you engaging with about this? And I've still not gotten an answer on that. And I just finally got answers on the Maury location that was dated January 5th, which I found very interesting. That, I was asking, if you think that's only about 2.5 weeks ago. And there was a whole slide deck prepared. So I guess it was presented. And it's just a lot. To me, there's a lot left to be desired from a public official. And I kind of had to take it to the point where I said, I want you to remember that you work for us. Right. And then it was, the response that I was met with was, well, where were you 12 years ago to start your advocacy on this? Where were you 15 years ago when this building was quit or closed down? And personally, I was 16 and a half years old. I was worrying about who I was going to prom with. I was dealing with experiencing loss in family. I was not, I wasn't doing advocacy work in the same way I am now, Right. And so it's just kind of like, we got to do better. And so still trying to be a leader and work on my bull in a china shop ways. I sent them all of our meeting links and dates for the year, and I sent them our big event dates that we have so far. So I'm operating in good faith. I set my expectation. We're not going to argue at my events because you'll be escorted out. I'm not going to have a site at my events. The only site that I want people to see at my events is people having a good time. And again, to answer Keisha's question, for him, he's advocating for some new school gym floors, which are needed at Bouchard because they are a bit dated. And then a lot of his replies is that's what he was told that he wanted, but he wouldn't relay who had told him those things. So we're still working on who is telling you these things. Are you engaging with the community? The Ruffin Road location, for one, was my biggest thing because the community had been engaged on what they wanted for that. And I'm a big thing of when you engage with the people in your vicinity around those things, then that's the voices that are really in need because they're right there. Throwing it back to our noon situation, there were some press conferences that happened around the Old Oak Grove School. And basically, after those press conferences, people left. The cars were gone. So then it wasn't the voice of the neighborhood. And that's the important thing. To answer some of the questions, when has he said some of these things? They were in emails. I'm kind of, like I said, gathering it up. So then that way, when we need to take it to that point, we can take it to that point. I'm working on how to download the Maury Street location as a video so we can post it online. Because apparently we're allowed to advocate for it, and it's going to be a very costly project. But a vocational center in Southside, I think, would be great for the amount of vocational buildings that we have, whether that's mechanic shops or welding places that we have. All of these things, all of these vocations have so many aspects to be rooted and housed in Southside. So yes. And so I have it. I'm just going to download it, and I'm working on it. But when you're a full-time educator running your own nonprofit, in my bio, I left out about my 2 little dogs. You know, when you're doing all of those things, trying to give somebody else a voice when they're not trying to give themselves a voice with the people, it falls a little low on my radar. As silly, as harsh as that may sound.
Well, and that's understandable. Charles is, somebody that understands where you are and really want to uh, do things to enhance the community, enhance the quality of life for our residents. Want to make sure that we're building a quality educational system for our kids. It takes all of us, but we have to have our leaders leading the fight, leading the charge, and making sure that again the entire community is involved in the decision making and not just specialized group or the group that you happen to like.
Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate. Politics is not like that. It is. We have over 26,000 residents in this area, and the utopia would be that we can get 26,000 people engaged, but they have to be where you represent both sides. It's just like, you're a politician that either a Republican or Democrat or independent. You have to listen to all of the constituents, not just the blue or the red or the independent. So, regardless of what position that you're holding, you are a public servant.
Yes. And when I think of it too, there in some of these municipality positions, we got to get away from the fear mongering as well. In some of my email correspondence, there's been things about like we're shipping kids all over the district because of preschool programs. And I have a different purview because I am an educator. So I know how some of these pre-K programs work. And I fire back with that's fear mongering language because pre-K programs are federally funded and they're not housed in every single school. And when I fire back with that, and when I fire back with, then I'm a public school educator. So I'm not going to accept that kind of a response and language from you that is inaccurate, number one, and fear mongering, number two, and three, unacceptable to parents who may not know, both as a public school educator and two, as a community leader. I didn't get a response for a little while after that one. So I think we gotta kind of work on some of those things.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm sorry. The comments are
We've got a couple comments. We've got a couple ladies who are on it. But yeah, so and I know that things work different and everybody has different opinions, right? So when I look at it, I'm looking at it through my purview and my lens, and what I'm seeing and what I know as the educator that I am and have been, and then also what I'm seeing when I see these buses pull through at the same time that I'm leaving for work in the morning.
Absolutely. Now let me see if I can get the drum roll here, because you got something that again you share with me, and that I want to make sure that everybody knows that what's going on with Oak Grove. So hold on, let me see. Can I get the drum rolls? All right. Tell us about the fantastic news that you all just received within the last 24 hours, so.
Yeah, so and it actually I think has been within the last 24 hours. So as some people may have seen on our social media who follow, there are a bunch of different cities along the East Coast. To my knowledge, it's just the East Coast. I may be ignorant if other places do it, but there's a Community Votes Award. And the Oak Grove Neighborhood Association was nominated, which was honor enough, in the community services category. And we found out last night that we tied for first place with the Ricky Johnson nonprofit. So we are co-winners and winners for the community service award for the community votes.
That is awesome. We're gonna give you all again a round of applause, man. That means a lot. And again, understanding that you all are not in your full year. You're 11 months and some days away here from being, a full neighborhood association. So kudos. That is just phenomenal work, Charles.
Thank you. Yes, not quite a year yet. In February, we'll hit our 12-month mark, and not even with our full team. We still have openings. Yeah, so it's cool that we've done it with this kind of a with a short team, and it wouldn't be possible without our volunteers and our board. I will say that we have some very dedicated volunteers that have come out rain or shine, tired or not, late or whatever. So the name Oak Grove Neighborhood Association might have done it. I might be the one who's ends up holding the plaque, but it is not just me by any means. I have a whole lot of people who are probably unsung heroes who champion me and champion what we do. And because let me tell you, Cruz, there's sometimes I'm tired being a teacher. But this work continues on, and so they push me a lot. So I'm appreciative of them, and thankful that I get to break this news with y'all on here with you guys. So
we really appreciate that, and we're going to be sharing your post about that on our social media as well. And again, and you have been, and your organization and your board, you guys have been doing some phenomenal work, and it was important to me, again, being a resident of the 8th district, to highlight a go-getter, a shaker and mover in this community, because I think a lot of people don't realize we're heavy hitters over here. I pump my chest every time when I'm saying, the 8th is great. Our South Side is the right side, and I can go on and on with
I
all
am.
of them.
I am. If you cannot see, I'm very pro Oak Grove. I had to put on my Oak Grove sweatshirt tonight. It's there is no side like Southside.
There you go.
And we're a little gritty, but we got a lot of potential, and there's a lot of us that are already tapping in on that potential, and a lot of families that are doing big things. And so, yeah, we're pumped. I think this year is going to be really good. And there's some people that don't even live in Richmond. I had one author send me books of his before they were even out to say, raffle these off for the year at your events. Like, the book will be out before those, but I believe in what you're doing. So here, take these early copies. And that was actually very cool. So we're ready for this year, and we're ready for that 11.7 to be even bigger.
Absolutely. And I want to, go on public record, Charles, that, Cruise Inc. Media, Cruise Inc. Radio, we stand in support of what you all are doing. And again, we want to be a part as much as we can of making sure that what you all are doing in the community is highlighted and featured. And then hopefully I'll have some interns coming out soon that I won't have to do all of the work, then come out and cover the event. So
anytime.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for you all, and
Keisha,
I should say us. We're Southside.
We're working on the swag.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, as you can see, there's a huge amount of support for you and for Oak Grove, and I think for Southside as a whole. And we're going to be making some noise. If you hear any noise, it's just me and the boys and the girls of Southside over here.
Yes, doing all the things. So,
as we close, what is the near goal for the Oak Grove Neighborhood Association? What are some of the visions that you have and that you all have?
Yeah, so for us, our tagline is putting people first. So for me, even if that 11.7 isn't reached again this year, as long as we've done the whole next year of putting people first, that's what I care about. Some things that I'm working on, I'm actually working on a proposal to bring Richmond its first mobile resilience hub, meaning a trailer that you can pull, but that would be filled with water and supplies and things to get people connected. But even still, we're working on some different things, some things behind the scenes. We're working on tripling our green space in Oak Grove right now. These are some big things. But right now, our thing is we are trying to fundraise short-term goals. We are working on our Easter egg hunt. We have an Amazon wish list. We're trying to cut down on the waste that our events provide by doing like popcorn and water coolers and things. So I'll share that with you. And if you want to put it out there, or if people want to head over to any of our social media pages, I will put it out there as well. And again, follow our social media, because once social media hits a certain level, it boosts you out to more people, and we can then put more people first. Big people, big cities, big things going on, they get lost in all the numbers. But when you're here on the neighborhood level, you get to put your people first, and that's what we want.
Absolutely, definitely. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed our discussion tonight. I think that we're setting a precedence for what is to come on the South Side here.
Yes, and thanks for having me. I appreciate that.
Any closing words, any shout outs that you want to give?
I want to give a shout out to one, my mom tuned in. She's on my board. I would be remiss if I did not shout out my mama.
Hey,
and
Mom.
then yes. And then I want to shout out a lot of my VREC staff have tuned in and out, and I want to shout them out. And then you, of course, thank you for having me. Thanks for fitting us in, because I know that you stay busy and you're a mover and shaker as well. So thanks for having me on. It is appreciated, because I love Oak Grove. I could talk about it all day. And I'm one of those people. I got to be quiet when it comes to Oak Grove sometimes. So thank you again. And yeah, that's it for me.
Well, everybody, again, if you have any more questions or something that we didn't cover tonight, you can always find Charles on his social media. You can, they have a great social media set up for the Oak Grove Neighborhood Association. And as I said, my man be out there on social media. I love the video, by the way, and the promo that you did about coming on and everything. That fun video was wild last night.
Listen, anytime that I can use a Beyonce song, or anytime that I can do anything, I'm a Beyonce fan through and through. And I normally don't put myself out there too much on our social media pages. It's about me amplifying what's going on. And I said, let me get out of my comfort zone a little bit, because this was out of my comfort zone as well. So,
well, you did absolutely phenomenal, and thank you for bringing all that wonderful information, and know that we will continue to hear from you and hear from the Oak Grove Neighborhood Association. And we're just, as I always say, elephant elated, peacock proud, and high and happy to have you on tonight. That's a future dialogue.
Anytime you want me, so just let me know.
We will definitely, and what we're going to do, Charles, is also some of the our audience do a panel, so we can have a panel discussion on here. I can have up to probably 10 of us that can come on, and we can have a round table discussion, because there are a lot of issues that we didn't touch on, and that are highly important. One I just found out, and I can't name my sources, but there's going to be a tremendous cutting of the budget when it comes to RPS, and there's some things that are going to be immediately felt, and so the question then looms large: is how do we, as a community, try to help to offset those budget cuts, or do we even understand what some of those budget cuts are going to do to our teachers and students and support staff and the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
So, well, I know it's time. Is it time to feed the dogs yet?
Listen, they've been right beside me the whole time.
Oh wow!
My dogs are well trained. So,
well, I know our pit bull is ready to come and eat because 8 o'clock is normally his time.
yeah.
And so he's been very, very gracious to not run out, because when he starts to eat, it's gonna sound like a whole herd of dogs eating.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, everybody, again, you guys have a fantastic night. Be safe this weekend. If you don't have to be out there on the roads, please don't. Check on the elderly. Make sure that when it comes to your water, that you're leaving your faucets running. Make sure you have batteries. I don't know why everybody gets eggs, but anyway, go get your eggs and your bread and milk and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well, Charles, you have a great night, man. And
thank you
again, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to you being back with us again.
Perfect. Thank you. Like I said, anytime. And y'all have a good night.
All right. All right, everybody. We had a great community conversation with Charles Snelling, who is the president of the Oak Grove Neighborhood Association. Certainly appreciate all the comments. Thank you for our audience. You guys were fantastic with your comments. And yes, Miss Helen Carey, I will be over there at the Easter event with an invitation from you all. We will definitely be there as well. Well, as I always say, whatever comes from the heart reaches the heart. Let somebody know how much you care about them before it's everlasting too late. We love you. Shout out to the Cut Up crew. Shout out to the Whip Can't Wait crew. Shout out to the 8th District. Shout out to the 9th District. Shout out RVA. We love you. We appreciate you. You guys are definitely phenomenal. Phenomenal. So let's continue to do some great things here on the South Side, everybody. I'm getting ready to get out of here. I got some honeydew things I need to do. So I'm going to take care of these honeydews, and I will see you all on the flip side. All right. Peace. Love you.
The first thing that you need to do is to make sure you get yourself to as safe place as you can. Find yourself a competent attorney who practices in personal injury and will understand some of the things that you're going through. And as I tell people, for 33 years I've been doing this. I've had my own accident. So I would like to be one of those individuals that they would interview so I can at least try to find out how I can best help them myself.